Hi guys, how y'all doing? I'm back. Been on like a 3-day disappearance, like my mother. Today I'm gonna be doing my movie review on the Marvels. I don't know how to start this, so I'm gonna try and figure this out. Never done this before, but I wrote some stuff down that I want to bring up, and then there's other stuff floating in my brain I want to bring up. So let's get into this. So honestly, the movie was not as bad as people were making it seem to be. Definitely was not. Everybody was hating on it. I seen on Twitter or just YouTube videos, and like some people were like, it wasn't bad, but like majority of the people seemed like it was trash. Like it was the worst movie, and it just killed the MCU. Not true at all. It was a pretty good movie, I must say. I mean, it wasn't anything groundbreaking. I mean, Loki came out the same day. I mean, I seen it on Friday, but Loki came out Thursday. Oh my God. Anyways, but it was nothing like that. But you're not expecting it to be like that. But I feel like that's also been a problem recently with Marvel is that we're kind of expecting less than what we were getting, if that makes sense. Like, when stuff was coming out, we were expecting like this grand thing, like these, high stake, like a plot to them. And, I feel like everyone's just been kind of like expecting less, if that makes sense, from Marvel. And, I think that could also be due to high expectations and their expectations not being met. But, nonetheless, I go seeing every movie with excitement. It's hard for me to not like a movie. That's what everyone says my biggest problem is that I can't critique a movie. So, I do like for the Marvel movies that came out this year. What even came out this year? Ant-Man, Thor: Love and Thunder, I think. Guardians, and the Marvels, I think, are the four Marvel movies that came out this year. And I would say it's second place for the four that came out. Well, we're gonna uninclude Sony because I'm talking MCU, not like the Sony Marvel movies either. But for the MCU movies that came out this year, I'd say it's second. It's higher than Quantumania and Thor: Love and Thunder. Like I said, I wrote some stuff down that I want to bring up. So, and like I said, it's not everything, but for the good of the movie, I think the dynamic between Carol, Kamala, and Monica are phenomenal. Well, what's her name? Aman Vellani, who plays Miss Marvel, does a phenomenal job. Great casting. Oh my God, I can go on and on about her. I'm not the biggest fan of Miss Marvel, but I think Aman does such a beautiful job portraying her. Like literally the whole point of Kamala Khan is she wants to be a superhero. Like if you're a comic book fan, that's who you're supposed like she's supposed to be an embodiment of you. Like she see these superheroes, she wants to be like them and she looks up to them and then finally she can be one, when she gets her powers. But, in this movie, they do this thing with the Bengals. Kamala's Bengals, I think is what you would call it. I think that's what they call it in the movies. And the villain, who I will get to that later, but I don't even remember her name. She's doing this thing where she's trying to find the Bengal and she inserts this power into it through the hexagon portals. And that's how they all interconnect because they all as in Monica, Captain Marvel, and Kamala, they all have light-based powers. So when the villain does her little clashy thing with the hammer, I forget what they called it, it somehow ties them together. So that's how they all end up meeting with each other. And once they start teleporting, because they teleport when they use each other, when they use their powers, is when they start swapping places. And I will say, I think it's a little weird how they don't really address it. It's just like, oh, this thing's going on. Anyways, who am I swapping with? But not why. I mean, like, they eventually address it, but it's not like, like, I'd be like, what the hell's going on? They're just like, oh, this is kind of inconvenient. Let's stop it. They could have addressed it better, I think is what I'm trying to say. But, and then once they all end up figuring out who they're swapping with, kind of come to an agreement, let's stick together so we don't keep, losing each other. Like, oh, you swap here, oh, I swap there, da da da. We're just all together. So it's a little more convenient. They have like cool little like woman bonding moment with each other in Captain Marvel's ship later on in the movie, and I think that was just phenomenal. My second thing is Amon Vellani's portrayal of Miss Marvel, which I kind of mentioned that with, the dynamic of the three of them. I wish that Monica had more to do, I guess, but every time I say Kamala, I think of Kamala Harris. I'm like, ew. But I just wish Monica had more to do. She had screen time. It just felt like she was kind of just there to kind of involve her. They give Carol Danvers some emotion. My God. I feel like in the first movie, the first Captain Marvel movie, she was just brooding the whole time, like, "Brr, like I'm just this big, strong superhero," and that's it. Like they don't give her like any kind of like emotion. It's just like, and even when they try to give her emotion, like, "Oh my God, they took my memories away from me. I have to figure out what happened to me. Da da da. Why did this happen? How is this happening? Da da da." It just, she just seemed brooding the whole time. Like there just wasn't much to her. So, the first bad thing I want to talk about is you got to do homework. Now, me personally, I love my Marvel homework. I ain't complaining. But, if you're not someone who's just like, oh, I don't feel like having to watch Miss Marvel, WandaVision, Secret Invasions, I think that's all you got to watch. I think there's a fourth, maybe, a fourth show you might have to watch. I don't know. But, if you didn't watch all this, you're like, okay, who's Monica? How'd she get these powers? Oh, the Skrulls. The Skrulls got a new home. Last time we seen the Skrulls, they were on Earth. And then Miss Marvel, well, that just kind of gives you like a backstory, which not too bad, but they don't really like. There's a way where you can address it, where like you can give a brief summarization so you can understand what happened without having like for the people who didn't watch those shows. Now, I watched the shows, so I know what happened, but it does feel like a lot of people got to do their homework. And it seems like a lot of stuff in this movie were sprinkled in, like, that should have been in these shows. They don't really address, like, Monica getting her powers to Carol, because last time Carol and Monica saw each other was in Captain Marvel, which was 30 years ago. So, it's just like, yeah, I walked through a witch's hex and I got powers. And that's it. Like, you could have said Wanda. Like, Captain Marvel and Wanda fought with each other during Endgame. Like, you could have mentioned that. Like, it's not like they don't know each other. Like, they know of each other. So, I think that would have been a little better to just, like, specify that. Now, what I mean by some elements in this movie they took from the shows, specifically the Skrulls. I feel like the Skrulls, because, in this movie they talk about what happened to the Skrulls after Secret Invasion, and what they had in here should have been in Secret Invasions. At the end of Secret Invasions, you see Samuel Jackson go up to Saber, and that's it. Like they don't address how they're gonna find the Skrulls a new home, if they can, if they're gonna stay on Earth, what's gonna happen, or at least from what I remember. Honestly, I'd like to just keep Secret Invasions out of my brain because it just ruined the canon for anything from Avengers, Age of Ultron, and before. Like anything before that kind of just ruined the my feel for it. So I try to forget it. But in this movie, they talk about how they did find a new home, but how? I don't even remember if they addressed that. They just kind of do. So I take a drink of my white girl drink. Go try it. It's a Dunkin' iced coffee with caramel, 3 sugars, and oat milk with whipped cream. Amazing. Go try it. But yeah, it's just like I feel like that should have been in Secret Invasions, not or the Marvels. It's like you watch Secret Invasions, there's an ending, but there's no conclusion, and then you got to watch a movie to see what happened to the Skrulls. I feel like that should have been in Secret Invasions, not like, it's like you watch Secret Invasions, now you got to watch Captain Marvel to see what happened to the Skrulls. Or you just forget about it like I did and fuck off. Whoa. The main villain is my second bad. I don't even remember the villain's name. Her whole backstory is she hates Captain Marvel because Captain Marvel went to the Kree homeworld. The main villain is Kree. She went and pretty much destroyed the Supreme Intelligence, I think is what it's called. Like the real one, not the one that we saw in Captain Marvel. But by doing that, it pretty much sent their planet into demise. It was somehow protecting them, and I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know if it's just a matter of I forgot or they just didn't explain it. I'm gonna go with they didn't explain it because I feel like I would remember that. But it was kind of just like it was kind of like their savior. Like once the AI died is when the planet started declining, and so far. So therefore, that's why we get the villain of the movie, and that's why she hates Captain Marvel. So the villain spends most of the time in the movie being a hating ass bitch on Captain Marvel and trying to save her people. This might be a hot take. She kind of reminded me of Thanos, but in the sense Thanos did what he did to try and prevent kind of what happened to, Hala, the Kree world. He wanted to get rid of half the entire universe population so they wouldn't run out of resources, food, all that stuff. So that's, but she was doing the opposite. What she was doing was since her planet was dying or died, she was going to other planets and stealing their resources so her people could live. Just like how Thanos, he would have killed half the population of Titans so his race would survive, which they didn't. Therefore, that's why I see the correlation. What I think could have been better, I think this should have been a third movie. I think there should have been a movie before this explaining, like, instead of just like having little flashbacks of why the Kree hate Captain Marvel, what's happening on the Kree world, and having to see that in flashbacks. I think it would have been a lot better if they had a second movie explaining, why this is, how it happened, why it happened, explaining this, like a world where they can only speak in singing, like in song, and she has this husband and it's just like, oh yeah, it was like a technical legal reason for it, so I just had to get him out of a little sticky situation, and that's it. I think you could have had that in the second movie, explain the why the Kree have such this hatred towards Captain Marvel, and they also touch upon why Captain Marvel hasn't been to Earth, which is because she felt like she was the reason why these people were gonna die. And she felt like she had to redeem herself before Monica could see herself, like see her again. Like from Captain Marvel to the Marvels, there's a 30-year gap. There's definitely something in between there that they could have showed. Now I kind of get why, because I don't think they want to keep doing like these like they want everything to keep progressing forward, not backwards. Like the last movie we got that was a prequel was Black Widow, and that didn't get received very well. I mean, it also wasn't like the best movie. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I think that's another reason why. So I just think every movie they make kind of is progressing the story forwards, which I think has also been a lot of people's problems. It's like they don't want to make a movie, they just want like they don't want to make a movie with a plot like to its own self. They want to make movies that will progress the overall story, which I was also saying I feel like I want, like what I would like to see is more contained stories, which they're doing now with Echo. Like you don't have to watch anything before. It's not going to change, the overall expanding universe. It's its own self-contained story, and I think that's what Captain Marvel could have been. Now them post-credit scenes. Oh my God. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't like that they made the actress of Monica's mom an X-Men. I I also thought it was Storm. I'm so sorry. I don't know who it is. I was told it wasn't Storm, but I thought it was Storm. But I was like, that can't be Storm. I mean, she ain't got no hair. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant like she like That seemed very disrespectful. I just meant, you know, Storm has big, floofy, flowy hair. This girl had no hair, and the suit looked nothing like Storm. But that was like the first person that came to mind. I actually don't know who the X-Men, like the character's supposed to be. Wow, don't start hating on me. I know I'm such a phony. James, you claim to be a big Marvel fan. How do you not know what X-Men character that is? I'm sorry. But Beast, oh, that was cool. I don't get me wrong. The actress who plays Monica's mom, who's now an X-Men, I thought it was cool. I just don't like how they keep reusing her. Like, we had her in Captain Marvel, then we seen her in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness as a Captain Marvel variant, now we're seeing her as an X-Men variant. It's like, okay, it's cool. It's cool, it's cool, it's cool. But like, I want a new face. But I think she'll do good. I'm curious what they're gonna do with that. If they'll even acknowledge that, if they'll do like a spin-off, like, oh, this is what Monica's doing in this other universe. And maybe that's how they'll explore the X-Men. I don't know. But seeing Beast was cool. I was in the theater, I was like, that was crazy. So, yeah, I thought it was fun. I thought that post-credit was fun. And then, the first, it wasn't even really a post-credit scene because it happened before the mid-credits, but they're counting it as a post-credit. So, when Kamala went to go visit Kate, as soon as I seen someone at a door with the bow and arrow, I was like, it's Kate! There's the Young Avengers! Which, I'm curious if that's what Kang Dynasty is going to be, it's just the Young Avengers. But how are they going to set up the Young Avengers? I mean, would Spider-Man be a part of the Young Avengers? But I feel like that wouldn't really fit because I don't see Spider-Man as like Young Avengers. I see him as like on the Avengers team. But him and Kate are like the same age, and they're trying to get Kate set up for the Young Avengers. So I don't know. I'm just trying to see who they could set up for that. Other than that, I'm excited. I get excited for it all. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't as bad as people were making it out to be. I was really worried for the runtime. I'm like, wow, this movie's kind of short. Like, how are they gonna cram all of this into small movie? And they made it work. It Personally, I don't think there was much like pacing problems. Some people thought there was. Maybe I just was so excited. I just, I don't see it, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was pretty good. I'd give it like a 7.5. I think I'd have to sit on it for a little bit, probably go see it again. I know some people are like, you're gonna give it a 7.5. That movie was ass. I'm sorry, buddy. It's not my fault you hate women. But I thought it was a fun movie, you know? I'd go see it again. I mean, I wouldn't pay to go see it again. Like if someone would be like, oh, hey James, I'll take you to go see the Marvels. Don't mind if I do. But yeah, I think I'm getting a little better at this. I'm trying, guys. Sorry for the long awaited upload too. I think I'm gonna upload this today. Today is in the 12th of November. What's today? Sunday? Yeah, Sunday. I'll edit this up and get this out. And then I think I want to do a ranking video. I think that'd be fun. Of like, but I don't want to do all of a ranking video of the Marvel movies, the MCU movies. But I'm not going to do all of them in one video because I don't want it to be too long. I think I'm going to do it by phase. So I'll start off with phase one and, rank where I think those movies are. And then I'll have that out by Monday. Monday afternoon. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope I didn't ramble too much. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys tomorrow.